Annabelle trying to get it down the line. Dug out it once again. That ball's blocked up by the Maple Leafs. Now Strock thinking quick, gets it back over to the Cougar side. And now a big block of the net by Geiger. And that's what we talk about, controlling the net. Point goes to the Maple Leafs, and now it's 24-17, and they're looking to wrap this setup right here on this final serve. And now it's going to be Allie Rowett to serve here for the Maple Leafs. Set point right here in the back row of the Cougars. Set up front. Now a big kill. That ball goes down the line. That's going to be out, and that's going to do it here for the first set. Maple Leafs take set number 1, 25-17. Really good played match. So as they're switching sides and taking a timeout, we're going to take a timeout as well. But when we come back, we're going to have more Maple Leaf volleyball action right here on 91.1 The Globe. Your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over. Well, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Ignition Music Garage is a local independent record store containing new artist releases on vinyl and compact discs. New and used speakers and turntables are also in stock. Ignition Music Garage is a popular concert venue located on 120 East Washington Street in downtown Goshen. Ignition is open Monday through Wednesday from 10 to 6 and Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 8. You can find them on the web at ignitionmusic.net or by phone at 574-971-8282.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today. So it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Whether you love to read, enjoy a board game with family and friends, or celebrate the arts, Better World Books is a place to explore. Located at 215 South Main Street in Goshen, Better World Books is a community bookstore and cultural destination. Better World Books features new and used books and textbooks, as well as board games, card games, local art, apparel, children's toys, and literary gifts for every occasion. Their phone number is 574-534-1984. Better World Books in downtown Goshen. On Facebook at Better World Books Goshen.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back here on 91.1 The Globe, my name's Spencer Buttermore. Alongside me, Laura Hoover, and we are in the Ruth Gundam Gymnasium here on the campus of Goshen College, and we're covering women's college volleyball right now as the Goshen College Maple Leafs are taking on the St. Francis Cougars. And Goshen College really came out of in that first set and was able to get ahead early and stay ahead and able to win that game 25-17.
You know, even though they were able to get ahead, they still got to play out the rest of both this set and possibly a third set. So being able to play out both, that's a lot of time, and that's still a lot of power they need to get through. And now that both teams have seen each other, they're able to, little diversity in their strategies here. And, again, controlling the net is extremely key at this point.
And we saw during that 3-minute break right there, the Maple Leafs came out on the court a little bit early. They still had a minute left in the time between the sets. And the Cougars kind of took a little bit more time trying to devise a game plan here as they lost that first set, and there were still a few little mishits here and there. And the Maple Leafs, like we said in the beginning, need to control the top of the net, and they've been doing a good job of that so far.
They've been doing a very good job of it. And, the Cougars have been coming in, and they have started trying to figure out where people are going to be on the court. So the Maple Leafs need to be aware of that, and they need to start looking at this and seeing where they need to improve on.
And it's going to be Hubner now for the Cougars to serve in set number 2. That's going to be Vanderbilt over to Magnuson. She's going to go right to the middle of the court for the Cougars, and they're going to get set up. And now that ball is dug out by Schwarzenegger over to Ruhr. And now that's going to be Magnuson going cross court, but it's going to be dug out once again by the Cougars. Get it over the top, and there's Vanderbilt. Now, quick thinking by Geiger, but the Cougars were able to sniff that one out. And that ball is going to be tipped off of two Maple Leaf players and find its way to the back and get it out. And so that's going to be the first point of the match, or the first point of the set, going to the Cougars. Hubner has served once again here for the Cougars. And now there's Plank over to Rower. And now Geiger, quick thinking, but that's going to find its way out of bounds on the side. And so it's going to be a quick 2-0 lead right here for the Cougars. It looks like there's a little bit of a mess up with the clock. It shows that Goshen's up 2-0, but that we know that's not the case, as the Cougars are up 2-0 right now. Hubner to serve once again here for the Cougars. Going to be a kill by Vanderbilt. That ball is going to be blocked up front. And now another block by the Cougars. Two great blocks right in a row. And now there's Geiger, and that ball is going to find the way onto the ground. That's going to be the first point of the match, or the set, Getting those confused. First volleyball game of the season. So we'll get it straightened out here. But it's going to be 2-1 here. Still in favor of the Cougars, but the Maple Leafs will gain control of the service.
And we saw this exact same thing in the last set. So we're not too worried yet, but it is still very early in the set.
And now it's going to be, that is McKinnon Tracy back to serve here for the Leafs. And now here are the Cougars. Little bit of a miss as they go on back and back. And that ball is going to be way out of bounds. So Cougars had a little bit of a struggle with that one. They went to one side of the court and then hit it right back to the other side, and they just weren't able to handle it and get it a good hit on the third one.
And that was the biggest problem for them in the early first set, too, until they got that kind of under control and they kept it within bounds.
And now there was Tracy serve once again. Cougars struggling a little bit to get it. And now there's Tracy to Rower, and there's Geiger. That ball is going to be blocked, but it's going to be, I believe the Cougars got tangled up in the net, so that's going to be a point for the Maple Leafs, and they're back on top 3-2. It's going to be Tracy to serve once again here for the Leafs. And there's a service now into the back row of the Cougars up front, and now a little bit of miscommunication right there once again by the Cougars, and Maple Leafs looking to take advantage, and that's going to be Peterson with her first showing in this matchup so far, and she comes in with a big kill and puts Maple Leafs up once again. They got them doubled up 4-2. Tracy to serve here once again for the Leafs. Tracy serves up and over the net into the back corner. And now they're going to say Geiger reached over top of the net, and she did a little bit. She kind of had her hand bent at the wrist and was over top of and interfered with the Cougars. So that's going to be a point in favor of the Cougars. So it's going to be 4-3. And it's going to be number 12, Emily Poe, back to serve here for the Cougars. Short serve. Madison coming across, and that ball is going to be tipped out of bounds and fall on the Cougar side. So that's going to be a point for the Maple Leafs. And that's going to be Lexa Magnuson, and she's been a real threat here so far, up the net for the kill so far in this matchup. And now we're going to have Megan Manley subbing in here for the Maple Leafs, and she's going to be back to serve 5-3. Maple Leafs lead the way. And here is Manley's serve. And now that ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And once again, another miss hit by the Cougars. They have not found a way to get a good hit on the ball.
Even when they do, it's starting to seem like the Cougars are what you would call a second half team or second part of the set team, where they take a very long time to warm up in each set, which can be very disadvantaged in their position right now.
And there's the serve once again. That ball is going to tip off the top of the net, and it's not going to be Manley's not going to be able to get there on the dive, so it's going to fall to the ground for a Cougar point, and it's going to be 6-4, still in favor of the Maple Leafs. It's going to be Flick to serve here for the Cougars. Flick is the libero. Like we said earlier, the Maple Leafs do not have a libero. Now here's Peterson. And now Magnuson just has to get that one over. Easy setup for the Cougars. And now a big kill. That ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And so it's going to be a point awarded to the Maple Leafs. Now we're going to have a sub. Aaron Strock's going to be checking in here for the Maple Leafs, as it's going to be Lexa Magnuson finding her way to the bench. And Aaron Strock's going to be back to serve here. 7-4. Still early in the second set. Now the Cougars up to the front row, big kill. And now that's dug out by Manley. Now over to Rower. And there is number 12. That was McQuinn. Now big block up front. And now they're going to say that was 4 hits on the Cougars. So that's going to be a Maple Leaf point as they increase their lead to 8-4. And still, the block up front right there by the Maple Leafs was a really big key in this one. And now that ball is going to hit the top of the net on the serve, but it's going to go over. And now that ball is going to find, that's a really good block right there by the front line of the Maple Leafs. And they were able to get that ball, and it just found its way into that baseline.
You know, the Maple Leafs are surprising in every part of the field right now because they're not only communicating, they're not only gelling as a team, but they're interpreting the other team and where they're going to be for the block.
And now, as we were talking, the service goes right over to the Cougars as the Maple Leafs were not able to find a way to get that ball going on the top of the net, and it just hits the ground on the Maple Leaf side. So now the Cougars will gain service, but the Maple Leafs still lead 9-5. And now getting some more moisture wiped up off the court as moisture and the hardwood floor don't mix in sports, and that could be an ACL waiting to happen.
Unfortunately so.
So we got the humidity and moisture all cleaned up off the court and ready to go. It's going to be Solstice back to serve. That ball hits the top of the net. And unlike in tennis, that counts. It's not a let or anything like that like in tennis. So just a misfortunate little happening right there for the Maple Leafs as now it's 9-6 here, still in favor of the Maple Leafs, but it's really early in the set and it can go either way.
And especially a serve like that, it's hard to tell what to do on it. So it is impressive that they even got close to the ball at that point.
And now the Cougars, a little bit misfortune goes their way as that ball finds its way off the baseline and out of bounds. So it's going to be the Maple Leafs' first one to double digits in the second set, and they're up 10-6.
Schwartzendruber to serve.
It's going to be Schwartzendruber back to serve here for the Maple Leafs. Schwartzendruber serve just barely clears the net, and now the Cougars get set up front row. And now that ball on the first hit was really high up in the air, but it hits the net, and Maple Leafs weren't able to do anything else with that as when it hits the net, it just kind of falls straight down. You can't really get underneath the net to try and get that ball going once again, so the point's going to go to the Cougars. And so it's going to be 10-7 here, still in favor of the Maple Leafs. And back to serve is going to be Ramel here for the Cougars. Now the ball is going to be in the back row, and it's going to go wide up the baseline. It's going to be out of bounds. So that's going to be a point for the Maple Leafs, 11-7 here.
You know, I feel like a broken record saying this, but the Cougars, they have so much power, but again, they're doing everything outside the court. They're not putting anything in bounds, which is what they need to do. Like between their kills, which they're fantastic at, or their services, which they are also fantastic at, but they're not putting it where they need to put it.
And we also see as the Cougars get a point right there in the back corner, as it's now 11-8. But going back to your point about them making good hits and the kills, they have the potential to have a lot of good kills. They have a lot of good front players, but they're not passing and setting them up just right and being able to get them involved in the game. Unlike the Maple Leafs, who are getting their front line involved, as Alexa Magnuson has had a really good game so far, and also Haley Vandeveld is also having herself a good game up at the net, and the Cougars aren't being able to find the way to do that. And, you know, the Cougars aren't able to find a way to slow down the game, get themselves back into control yet. So, I mean, maybe it's something to do with the lead or the fact that they're more of a second-half team, which we're already getting into that later time of the set. So it is possible that these services and all that are starting to lead to their comeback. And now that service by the Cougars is going to find its way out of the baseline. And so it's going to be a 12-8 lead here for the Maple Leafs as they regain the service. And it's going to be Rower with the serve. Now here are the Cougars. And right there is a perfect example of what we were just talking about. They set up the kill perfect, and it paid off as the Maple Leafs weren't able to handle the kill. And the point goes to the Cougars. And they slowed down the game to their pace, unlike the Maple Leafs who are accelerating the game, trying to get these services and these volleys across the net, keeping it on their side of the net and getting them away for themselves. And so the 12-9 service is for the Cougars, as now it's going to be Vandeveld set up, and that ball is going to be blocked. Ball is blocked once again. And now they're going to say that they got into the net on that one. And so now the coach for the Cougars is starting to plead his case a little bit here, as that he's arguing the call a little bit. I believe that he's arguing whether or not the Cougars really have to wait on the ball to get back over the top of the net after a block. But the officials say so, and he's back to the net and back on the bench. So it's going to be Maple Leaf serve here, 13-9. Ball's going to tip the net, and that's going to go off the arms of number 10. That's Ann Clark. That's going to find its way out of bounds. So it's going to be another point for the Maple Leafs, 14-9 here. As we're approaching we're almost to the halfway point, if not at the halfway point of the second set. Now here's Tracy with the serve once again, and for the Cougars. And into the back row, and that ball is going to be in. Couldn't quite tell from this angle over here. Well, it was close to that line, but in volleyball, as like many other sports, the line is in play. So as a line judge, that's really hard to try and differentiate that call, but I believe the official got it right there. And so it's 14-10. The Cougars are finally in double digits. Maple Leafs still have the lead, though. And now set up for Kate Tracy from the back row. And that's going to hit the line judge as he tried to duck out of the way, but he's still trying to do his job and watch that ball as it will go out of bounds. So it's going to be 14-11 here. Still in favor of the Maple Leafs. Cougars have the serve. Into the back row for Plank. Now up to Rower. And now across court to Peterson. That ball's going to be tipped by the Cougars. And up, and now tipped by the Maple Leafs on the kill. And now get it back over to Geiger. Now set up perfectly for Peterson. And give the assist to the Cougars on that one, as they kind of set it up, but it just found its way over top of the net, and Whitney Peterson was able to just bury it, and the Cougars just weren't able to recover from that one.
That was a extremely difficult kill. It was hard to place, but not only that, it was almost like a lucky kill at that point. Just the way it was placed and the way the people were on the court, that was absolutely beautiful.
So it's 15-11, and it's Megan Manley into serve. And Cougars go wide on that kill. So once again, another wide kill by the Cougars. And it's given the advantage to the Maple Leafs once again, 16-11, as it's Manley back to serve. And waiting on Manley's serve here. And now here is the service for the Cougars, getting set up, blocked up front. Now there's Peterson to Rower. And now here is Magnuson. And that ball was indeed going to find its way in. So the libero, number 8, that's Valoria Flick, had no choice but to try and just get an arm on that ball, and it kind of hit her arm and knocked an angle and finds its way out of bounds. Another point, 17-11, as the Maple Leafs are starting to pull away. Manley to serve once again here. Now into the back row. Now another kill, and that was a little bit of miss defense right there, as there was a big hole right in the middle of the defense of the Maple Leafs, not covering every spot on the floor. And the Cougars exploited that and were able to take it.
And the Cougars need to start getting the ball back on their side of the court, keeping it, handling it, if they would ever want to come back in this game right now.
And so it's 17-12 here. And Peterson again with another great serve. That one set up, or another great kill. That one set up by her own teammate. But Whitney Peterson just came into this game. She didn't play in the first set. Comes in the second set and starts and is going lights out. She's had, I think, 3 really good kills so far.
3 powerful bullet-like kills right now.
And so it's going to be 18-12. Maple Leafs trying to put this one away, as it's going to be Peterson heading to the bench. But checking in for her is going to be Christy Schwarzendruber, as it's going to be Aaron Strock back to serve here for the Leafs. Into the back row now for the Cougars. Set up and blocked up front by the Maple Leafs. Another great block right there by the Maple Leafs. Cougars regain control. And there's Tracy. And now it just almost has to be tipped over, but that's going to be 4 hits on the Maple Leafs. And that one was a little shaky. On the set, it wasn't quite set up right for McQuinn, so it kind of made it a little bit difficult. And that ball kind of hit the top of the net, a little teeter, but ultimately it fell on the Maple Leafs side, so it's going to be a Cougar point. 18-13 here. And it's going to be Solstice to serve here for the Cougars. Now here's Rowe with the setup, and there's McQuinn. And that one's right back on the side of the Maple Leafs, as that front line of the Cougars is starting to really get some blocking going here in the second set.
And not only that, they're trying to kill more successfully, to attack, and they're keeping the ball on their side of the court. All key things that they need to do to get back into this game.
And now there's Schwarzenegger with a big kill, with another big block there by the Cougars. And then now the Cougars recovering and tipped up by the Maple Leafs, and one hit back over to the Cougars. And just another place where the Cougars exploited that open space on the defense of the Maple Leafs. And so with that, the Cougars are starting to come back around, and Maple Leafs called the timeout. We're going to keep it here and kind of diagnose what we've seen so far. And so the Maple Leafs are currently up 18-15. They've only trailed 2-0 here in this first set. But now the the Cougars, are starting to kind of get in the rhythm, and they're starting to make a little bit of a comeback.
I also think because of the fact that they are trying to get a comeback, keeping the ball on their side of the court, doing those kills accurately and powerfully. But also, I feel like the Leafs, they're getting tired. They put all that they have in the first set, the first half of the second set, that they're almost neglecting the back half of what they need to do. And what they need to start doing is they need to get that endurance up. That this is where the gel of the team comes in, trusting each other's abilities, their strengths and their weaknesses, and knowing where they are on the court. And they're kind of losing that right now. But if the Leafs can start changing that possession back to themselves, maybe even them slowing down the game a little bit more, they can, continue this winning streak.
And, another thing, going back to the endurance of the players, we still do have a third set regardless. If the Maple Leafs still win, we still are going to have a third set. But it goes back to the Maple Leafs, these long rallies. There's been a lot of long rallies, and that takes you out of it. I mean, we have players diving all over the floor for the ball and jumping up with the net and just trying to make every play. And that takes it out of you. And with the humidity the way it is, it's just not an ideal situation, I guess, if you'd say, for long rallies in this evening.
And especially them, because they're wearing dark colors and then black and long sleeves. So I just feel badly for these players right now.
And so now over to the Cougars here. And that ball's going to be killed. It's dug out there by Manley. Now it's going to be back over to the Cougars. And that ball's blocked by Peterson. And it's put right back into the hands of Albertson for the Cougars. And she just couldn't do anything with it after she hit it. So it goes right back to the Maple Leafs here for the service, and it's going to be 19-15 here. Maple Leafs regain that service and getting back in control of this game.
Exactly, and that's what they need to do. They need to start, using that gel that they have, trusting each other, and get these services and these volleys back to where they can, control the game again.
And now Schwarzenegger was with that serve, but there was a little bit of the tangle up with the net on the Maple Leafs side, so it's going to be a point for the Cougars, and it's going to be 19-16 as the Cougars regain service. And it's going to be Rommel here to serve here for the Cougars. Rommel awaiting Rommel's service. And here the serve is into the back row for Schwarzenegger. And now up to McQuinn. McQuinn gets it over, blocked up front by the Cougars. And now a little bit of a light hit, a little bit of a drop shot by the Cougars. Now Schwarzenegger killed from the back row, dug out, and quick thinking once again by the Cougars, and they go with that first quick hit on the set, and the Maple Leafs weren't expecting it.
And the Cougars, they're kind of jumping away from the just power, and they're going to light touches here, light touches there to get it inside, and that's what the Leafs are kind of struggling with right now.
And now Rommel to serve, and Vanderbilt comes across, and that ball was struck hard. And now Maple Leafs trying to go with a little bit of a quick hit on the second hit, but doesn't catch the Cougars off guard. Now here's Vanderbilt with another strong kill, blocked up front by the Cougars. They're looking to get it back over now, and there is Manley digging it out over the rover. Now to Vanderbilt on the side, and now two Cougars on the floor. Get back up and get the ball back over there. Schwarzenegger, and now another quick hit right there by Roller, but the Cougars sniff it out once again. Now there's McQuinn coming off the side, and that ball is going to find its way onto the ground. And that's another thing we were talking about, another long rally. The point does go to the Maple Leafs, but we have to think the endurance. It's so early in the season, and how much is this going to wear down on not just the Maple Leafs, but the Cougars as well?
These long volleys, they're exhausting, but as we've seen, like, you can see the amount of power and raw emotion and just the drive to each team that they want that point. And eventually one team or both at the same time are going to wear down to the point where someone messes up. And eventually that happened here.
And now here are the Cougars. A little bit of a block up front, but that ball is going to find its way down. It's going to be a Cougar point. And this game is definitely this set's a little bit closer than the first one. Goshen still has the upper hand, 20-18, but the Cougars are not messing.
Hey, there's my son.
Hey, Dad.
What's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Well, it's just sort of.
Hello, Dad.
Susan? Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and maybe see some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
There's a place in Goshen where a dinner with drinks meets family-friendly fun. The Goshen Brewing Company's laid-back environment and tasty menu is perfect for all ages with its outdoor lawn and patio. Featuring a diverse lineup of fresh, craft-brewed beer, the Brewing Company is open from 3 to 10 Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 11 on Friday and Saturday, and Sunday brunch at 11. Find the Goshen Brewing Company at 315 West Washington Street next to the Goshen Market or online at goshenbrewing.com.
Why is my son having trouble in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with my son over his homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, he's smart, but his mind wanders.
7 wonders of the world.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Whether you love to read, enjoy a board game with family and friends, or celebrate the arts, Better World Books is a place to explore. Located at 215 South Main Street in Goshen, Better World Books is a community bookstore and cultural destination. Better World Books features new and used books and textbooks, as well as board games, card games, local art, apparel, children's toys, and literary gifts for every occasion. Their phone number is 574-534-1984. Better World Books in downtown Goshen. On Facebook at Better World Books Goshen.
Welcome back to 91.1 The Globe. My name is Spencer Buttermore. Alongside me, Laura Hoover for the evening. And we got a close one here. It's 20-20. Maple Leafs called a timeout right there. We went ahead and took a timeout with them. And Maple Leafs got to get things going right back here as the Cougars have the service, 20-20. Now back here. And there are the Maple Leafs into the back row. And now the Cougars taking advantage. And now that ball was just not set up very well on the pass for the kill. And it just, they had really no other option but to spike it right into the net. And so the Maple Leafs gain the upper hand here in the late stages of the second set, and they go up 21-20, 4 more points to go.
And you know, those plays are determined by the setter. And if the setter doesn't do their job getting it up high enough for the spike, then nothing's going to play out. Or, as we see just right now, the set is high enough, but the spike for the Cougars is just too powerful. That's what we've seen earlier in the set and earlier in the last set as well.
And in that rally right there, we just saw that the kill went a little wide. They had a better set, but the kill went wide for the Cougars, so it's going to be another Maple Leaf point. And it's going to be 22-20, and the Cougars are going to ask for a timeout here. And their head coach isn't even head coach Haddix isn't even into the huddle right now. And we've already ticked away about 30 seconds of this timeout. And so you have to wonder if he saw something with just a single player. He is talking just now to, I believe that is number 9. That's Healed, and she's just talking to him. She's just talking to her. And so I don't know what he saw compared to what we saw. But you have to think that he wanted to call a timeout because the Maple Leafs are about to take away this second set.
They definitely need to regroup and start talking about what they've been doing so far. And I'm saying this over and over again, but they have enough power. It's just the accuracy and where they place the ball is everywhere on the court. Sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out, sometimes it's way out, sometimes it's barely out. And they need to get that under control. And if they can do that, then again, they're back in the game. But the Leafs are also at the same problem of where they're getting tired. They're 80% of the game. This is the last 20%. And this is where they need to pull out everything and just go dig it and just go hard and go home at least.
And now we're in the middle of the rally right here. As now it's Geiger with the tip for the Cougars. And now they have to just get it back over the net here. As now it's into the back row for the Maple Leafs. It's going to be Rower. And now a big hit by Magnuson. Dug out there by Flicker. And now here is the back row of the Maple Leafs over to Vandeveld. And she's going to try and go cross court. And that ball's going to find its way to the ground. And that was another really good rally right there. Maple Leafs making a lot of good hits right now and finding their hitters on that front line to get the kills.
That they are. And they're starting to revert back to a little bit of a slower play because they are tired. But they're not losing any of the power and the strategy within it. I mean, again, they're down one setter, but that doesn't seem to be affecting them as much as originally thought.
And so now it's going to be 23-20. We have the mop out on the court once again to clean up some moisture that has accumulated here on the court, but it's all cleaned up now, and it's going to be Rower back to serve once again here for the Leafs. Looking to close this one out. 2 more points to go. And now here are the Cougars. Big block up front once again by the Maple Leafs. And another tip right there by Vandeveld with that ball. Schwarzenegger is not able to find the way to get to that ball as she did dive on the ground, but just wasn't able to find the connection with the ball. And so that ball falls for a Cougar point. And we're still pretty close in this one at the end of the second set, 23-21. And it's now going to be Chloe Hubner to serve here for the Cougars. Awaiting the service now. And here is Hubner with the serve. And now that's to Schwarzenegger, now to Roar. And now Vandeveld, that one tiptoes its way over the line and just kind of bounced on that line, or the top of the net once again. And so it's going to be a point for the Maple Leafs. And now that's going to set up the set point here for the second set, as Maple Leafs are going to take this one and go up 2-0. And so it's going to be McKinnon Tracy back there to serve once again for the Maple Leafs. She's a pretty reliable server, so we can hope to get a point right here from her. Into the back row from the Cougars up front, and now a big hit, and that ball goes outside of the antenna, and that's going to be the final point for the Maple Leafs as they take the second set of this one, 25-21. Cougars got into that one a little bit better, but the Maple Leafs were able to find a way out of it. And so as they switch sides and take a quick break, we're going to step aside as well. When we come back, more Maple Leaf volleyball right here on 91.1 The Globe. Your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Ranger Station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm going to let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
Ignition Music Garage is a local independent record store containing new artist releases on vinyl and compact discs. New and used speakers and turntables are also in stock. Ignition Music Garage is a popular concert venue located on 120 East Washington Street in downtown Goshen. Ignition is open Monday through Wednesday from 10 to 6 and Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 8. You can find them on the web at ignitionmusic.net or by phone at 574-971-8282.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Deep Roots Mountain Revival Festival is coming to Marvin's Mountaintop in Masontown, West Virginia. This festival will feature some Globe favorites such as Frushin,
I've been missing your face late.
Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives,
Was a name.
Blackberry Smoke, and many more. This will last from the 15th to the 18th of September, so you can enjoy 4 days filled with great music. Any information can be found at mountainrevival.com.
Back here on 91.1 The Globe here in Ruth Gunham Gymnasium. My name is Spencer Buttermore. Alongside me, Laura Hoover. We're seeing a pretty good matchup so far as the Maple Leafs have had a good showing tonight.
Oh, they really have. I mean, they have been having one of the best nights that I can remember, at least in this early season, because they are down a setter, as we said earlier, over and over again. And now they're tired, too. And they've been doing what they need to be doing. They've trusted each other so far, and that has gotten 2 sets already. So, and they've controlled the net. So all the key things that they have, that the coach wanted to work on since their last game, they had done. And now comes this set. And this set will be even more key with their tired and just, it's probably going to be a battle of the minds about who wants to win this set more.
And we can also see one thing that we can really see, but the difference between the Maple Leafs and the Cougars right now, and not on the court but off the court, is Coach Jim Rudner for the Maple Leafs. Their team was out on the court with 2 minutes to go left here in this little switch we had when they switched sides. And Coach Haddix still has his team on the sideline, and the buzzer's just about to go off, and you can hear it in the background right there. And his team is just getting onto the court. So you have to think that Coach Rudner for the Maple Leafs really feels comfortable with how his team's playing right now. Not too much to say as of right now from a coaching standpoint. And we can totally agree from over here from our knowledge that we have from volleyball. They're doing everything right so far.
And not only that, but the energy. Everyone is standing. Everyone is cheering on the Goshen side. The coaches are standing. The players are standing. No one is sitting down. And yet on the Cougar side, coaches are sitting. And they're watching. They're sitting. They're not trying to yell out to the players to do something and like get this thing done. And I appreciate that they're allowing the players to do their own thing and interpret what's happening, but the energy is so much different between both teams right now.
Yeah, and we saw earlier in that second set when the Cougars did have the lead, they were making a lot of noise on the sideline, but as they started to lose that lead, they weren't able to make a lot of noise. As we're started here in this third set, and now it's going to be, that ball is going to be way long, and the Cougars are going to drop the first point of the match, or the set, excuse me. And Maple Leafs going to take an early 1-0 lead. And now with those Cougars behind, they're not going to get as riled up on the sideline as we saw them early in that second set when they had a 2-0 lead.
Yep.
And so now here's a service from Rower once again. And now that ball is going to be tipped back over. They're going to say that wasn't tipped. That was tipped. Yes, okay. I'm not an official over here on the sideline, but I was pretty sure that we didn't have a tip right there, and the Cougars were able to the Cougars had 4 hits. And so the Maple Leafs go up 2-0 as Rower is to serve once again. Into the back row now, the Cougars, a little bit of a lighter hit, and now a big kill going in the back row. And now can't dig that one out. And that was Rower and Vanderbilt trying to communicate right there. And at the last second, Vanderbilt kind of backed off, and Rower went for it and couldn't quite get to it. So not a complete miscommunication. They were communicating, but need to be a little bit earlier on that set, or on that rally.
And, just to comment again on what you said about the energy, as a former athlete myself, I can attest to that. You need to generate energy, especially later in a game or a set, to actually get back where you need to get back into, at least the frame of mind they need to be in to win.
And so now that ball is going to be hit into the back row of the Cougars. Plank sets up Gerke. Gerke comes in from the back. And now it's going to be back over to the Cougars. Blocked up front there by Geiger and Gerke. Now Vanderbilt was set up perfectly by the Cougars to go for the kill. Now here's another setup for Gerke. And now that ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And Gerke almost went for the hit, but noticed it was going to be out of bounds. And that's just great court awareness by the Maple Leafs in that one to let it fall and not to make a mistake and hit it and potentially lose the point.
And even backing away from it, too. Like I said, great court awareness, backing away and making sure not to even touch it just in case it actually does hit outside. And it did. So being able to keep that court awareness and energy and just the communication on the court itself is already proven a 3-1 lead, which is, drastically different than what we've seen in the last 2 set openings.
And so now it's going to be McKinnon Tracy back to serve here for the Maple Leafs. We're getting set here. Both teams ready to go. We still had to wipe up some West spots on the court, but I believe we're ready to go as Tracy is getting ready to serve. The ball tips the top of the net, but Cougars are able to find a way, and now dug out a good one by Plank, and now over to Gerke here on the right side of the court. And now it's going to be back over to the Cougars. Strong hit, but big block by Gerke right there and controlling the net right there. That's what the definition of controlling the net is. She was up there all by herself, was able to get the block and find a way to get it down onto the court of the Cougar side, and they go up with an early 4-1 lead. So it will be Tracy back to serve once again. And now into the back row for the Cougars. And just another miss hit by the Cougars right there as that ball was set up. And it wasn't a good setup for the kill as it wasn't even above the net, and it's kind of hard to get a kill when it's not above the net.
And you know, we're going back to that original frame of mind that it's going to take mind over matter to dig in and see who wants to get this set more. And we started to see that with Megan Gerke, the key player. Great blocker. That's what they've been doing. That's what she's been doing, blocking and being able to get that right there.
And so with that last set, it was a good kill right there by the Maple Leafs, and Cougars just weren't able to find anything going. And now with an early 6-1 lead over the top of the Cougars call a timeout, and it looks like Jim Ruthner and his squad is having a pretty good time over there in that timeout, and it's not looking so good over there for the Cougars as they're trying to they're just trying to figure out what they can do here and try and make some in-game adjustments here to try and just get back in this third set and give themselves a chance to go into that fourth and maybe a fifth set.
You know, what I've been seeing is that, you know, obviously just the amount of energy that both teams have put in has drained. You know, we had one long volley in the second set and another long volley in the first set. And that has drastically changed the game on both sets, giving either Goshen or the Cougars a lead. And maybe they're trying to figure out how they can pull through with the energy lost from those two volleys and the rest of just the digging, because they've been on the court. To me, I feel like both teams have been on the floor more than they've been standing up in this game right now.
And going back to that endurance thing, we see Megan Gerke hasn't played until this third set. So they're trying, it seems like the Maple Leafs are trying to shift those players, and they know they have to play at least 3 sets, so not have Megan Gerke play and have her come fresh off the bench and ready to get some kills when the defense of those Cougars are going to be wore down, and she can come in and get some really good kills.
And Megan Gerke is a fantastic blocker, so having her right up at the net is absolutely amazing to have.
And now Peterson with a little bit of a light kill right there, and now the Cougars just have to get it over into the back row for Tracy, over to Rower. And now Geiger comes across, and that ball is blocked up front there by the Cougars. And now they get their second point of this matchup. It's now 6-2. And so coming right out of that timeout, Cougars get a point right off the board.
You know, even with a minute 15 rest, that gives you just enough energy to start and come back. And once you start getting that confidence and the energy back, your mind starts to revert back to, hey, I can do this again.
And there's Peterson with a big kill dug out there by the Cougars. Now it's going to be Plank to Rower, now to Geiger, and she's going to try and get it to the front row, but that's going to be dug out there. Tipped up, and now Plank to Rower. Now Geiger, that ball hits the top of the net, but finds a way over. And now it's going to hit the floor on the Cougar side, and that's going to be another Maple Leaf point. It's going to be now 7-2. We're going to have some substitutions coming in here, as it's going to be number 12, that's Lindsay McQuinn coming in here for the Maple Leafs, and also number 3, Megan Manley is going to be coming in, and she's going to be awarded with the service as she comes onto the court. 7-2 now, Maple Leafs leading the way. Looking to close things out and go for the shutout as they've won the first 2 sets. And now here is Manley serve into the back row of the Cougars. Now strong hit and a big block right there, but that ball finds it. And I believe that is going to fall on the Maple Leaf side. I believe the Maple Leafs did get hung up on the net a little bit too, so it's going to be a point for the Cougars. That's 7-3 here, and the Cougars will be awarded with the service. And so here's the service from the Cougars into the back row. And now there's Rower, and Manley comes in from the back row, just has to go with the kill. Gets it back over to the Cougars. Strong hit right there. Tracy now to Rower on the backhand to Gerke into the back row of the Cougars now. And just a light hit. Tracy now, and Megan Gerke just goes over, finds a hole in that defense, and finds a way to get the job done and gets the 8th point here for the Maple Leafs. It's now 8-3. And it's going to be Aaron Strock stepping into the game here for Megan Gerke, as it will be Aaron Strock to serve here. Once again, the Maple Leafs lead 8-3. And now here in the back row for the Cougars. Get it set up and a good hit by Maple Leafs, and can't find a way to get that, as that just went off Tracy's arms, and it was a really hard hit. Give her the benefit of the doubt, trying to handle that one, but couldn't quite handle it. It goes out of bounds. So now it will be 8-4. Cougars starting to gain a little momentum, but Maple Leafs still have a lot of that momentum that we talked about earlier in this game. Maple Leafs Cougars to serve here. Now Peterson, a little bit of an awkward hit over the net, but she does get it over top of the net. And now blocked up front there for the Maple Leafs. Cougars get it back over top of the net. And now that ball is going to find its way out of bounds and outside of the baseline. So that's going to be another point for the Maple Leafs as they find themselves up 9-4. We're going to have a couple subs coming in here for the Maple Leafs. That's going to be Haley Vanderbilt. And also that's going to be Christy Schwartzendruber coming in here for the Maple Leafs. That's going to be Tracy and Peterson coming out of the game for the Leafs. Schwartzendruber, who just stepped in the game, is getting ready to serve. And her service goes up and over top of the net. Another miss hit there by the Cougars, not able to get anything going. And there's Schwartzendruber now to Strock. That ball blocked. Strock now to Rower. And they're cross court to Vanderbilt. And she'll hit a hard one, but it won't be able to find the floor. And now a little bit of a tough hit right there. Schwartzendruber really gave it everything she had to try and get to that one and just hits it straight into the ground. Not able to get a good hit on that one, and it goes to the Cougars.
And even Haley Vanderbilt, she was trying to tell everyone, hey, don't go for it. It looks like it's about to be out, and they still go for it. So a little bit of miscommunication on their part, but I mean, they are up 10-5.
And after that Cougar service right there, that ball goes directly into the net. So that's how we get to the 10-5. We have another sub coming in, Danielle Plank, and also Kylie Geiger is going to be coming in here for the Maple Leafs. That's going to be McQuinn and Manley heading to the sideline. And Danielle Plank will be awarded the service as soon as she steps into the game here. So it's going to be 10-5. Here is the serve. Over to the libero for the Cougars. That ball hit straight into the net. And now Geiger, and that ball, it looked like it was tipped a little bit, but the line judge says it was out. And there's a few little missed calls right there. Not sure if the Cougars had 4 hits. They say it was tipped by the Maple Leafs. And then now they're going to see if it was a tip or not, or see if it was out. And it's going to be 4 hits on the Cougars. So it's going to be a Maple Leaf point as they are now up 11-5 here. Starting to pull away with this one, 6-point lead. And we know of volleyball, you only can get 1 point at one time. So it's going to be hard to try and get a rally going here for the Cougars.
And if the Cougars want to get a rally going, they got to keep the ball on their side of the court. But from what we've seen so far, it's probably going to end up one long volley going to decide who's going to be winning this set here. And it's probably going to be coming up pretty soon, too.
And there's Plank with the serve over to the Cougars now. Big block up front, and there's Strock taking it out. Now to Rower, cross court to Vanderbilt. And now it's going to say we had a double hit on the Maple Leafs. So it's going to be a Cougar point. It's going to be now 11-6 here. Going to have some substitutions coming in here for the Cougars. No one coming in just yet for the Maple Leafs. And it's going to be Chloe Hubner here serving for the Cougars. The waiting Hubner service now still 11-6. And there's a serve to Plank. Now to Vanderbilt, to Geiger. And now that ball can't quite get it over the net. And a little frustrated on that one, but still a pretty good lead right now. Still up 4 points, 11-7. But Cougars are trying to make a little bit of a comeback here, and Maple Leafs starting to struggle a little bit.
Maple Leafs really need to start closing in and covering the entire court, forgetting about how tired they are right now, because you can definitely see the wear and tear on them. Even with the fresh faces like Gerke coming in, they still need to get and control that net with the blocks and with the spikes that they are already accumulating.
And a good serve right there by Hubner. Back over to the Maple Leafs, and that ball is blocked. And now it's going to be Rower trying to go quick on the skill. And now the ball is going to fall. Schwartzendruber couldn't get to it. And another point for the Maple Leafs, for the Cougars. And we just talked about how it's kind of harder to come back, but if the momentum's on your side of the court, it can make it very easy. And right now we're seeing the Cougars starting to make a little bit of comeback, only down 11-8.
especially when the momentum on your court is when you're tired too. Once the momentum starts, you really do not stop until, you're completely just exhausted, hit rock bottom, and say, hey, we need to come back again. And which is what the Cougars are doing, and is what we've seen every single set. The Leafs start out extremely strong, and then the Cougars come back, and their patience is rewarded by a few very long rallies that accumulate points and make it difficult for the Leafs to even win the set.
And so mid rally right here, and that ball was initially blocked up front by Vanderbilt and Geiger, but it falls onto the floor for a Cougar point. So we're back within 2 points here. It's 11-9. Still in favor of the Maple Leafs, but Cougars on the comeback trail as Hubner's getting ready to serve once again. Hubner now to serve into the back row for Schwarzenegger. Grower with a quick little hit on the second one. Geiger now a strong kill and finds a hole in that defense, and they weren't able to get a block. So now the Maple Leafs can gain control again of that service, and it's going to be 12-9. And Aaron Strauch comes out of the game as it's going to be Megan Gerke checking in. And to serve is going to be Rower. Rower now. Good serve. It's over to the Cougars. Strong hit. And that ball, it could have gone out, but you never know. So she tried to go for it, and Rower just tips off her arm and finds a way out of bounds. So it's going to be a point for the Cougars, 12-10 now. And still trying to get those wet spots cleaned up on the floor, and it seems to getting progressively worse as we get going here throughout this game.
I mean, not only the humidity that we're worrying about now is just the amount of sweat that these girls are producing. They're all, again, majority of them are on the floor with digs, or at least trying as much as they can. And the Maple Leafs, they're wearing dark purple long sleeves. Cougars, dark black long sleeves. So the amount of this body heat that they're generating, and the emotion and the will just to dig for everything is making this court like a small swimming pool right now.
And now back into the action here as it's a big block right there by Geiger, but it tips off her hands and goes out of bounds. So it's going to be a point for the Cougars, and they're back within one. This game's almost tied here as it's 12-11, and it's going to be the Cougars back to serve again. And that is going to be Poe back to serve. And now here's Gerke to Rower. Here's Geiger. Tries to go into the back row. Dug out there by the Cougars. Big hit right there. Schwarzenegger dug out. And now Geiger with a quick little two-hit on the second hit of the match, or the second hit of the rally, excuse me, and just finds a hole in the defense over there. And now Maple Leafs gain that service once again. And it's the one of the more consistent servers, McKinnon Tracy. So Tracy back to serve, 13-11 here. Tracy into the back row for the Cougars. That ball is going to be hit out. And now I believe they're going to say that there was a net violation on the Maple Leafs, so that point is going to go to the Cougars. And so now it's still a one-point set, 13-12 here in favor of the Maple Leafs. And here are the Maple Leafs getting ready to go now. Gerke into the back row. And now a little bit of miscommunication right there as that ball was killed and no one was able to dig it out. And Plank and Rower just kind of looked at each other and no one hit it.
And this would be the first time Cougars have taken lead in at least this set. And as we're watching these girls do their thing, it is very clear that they're exhausted. But I mean, Tracy, Plank, they're doing as much as they can in the backcourt right now. And even that, with all the power that Cougars have held and their patience that they have had, is paying off for the Cougars right now.
And on that last hit right there, the Cougars hit the ball on the outside of that antenna. So that is out of bounds, of course, and making it a 14-13 lead here for the Maple Leafs. As now it's going to be Manley back to serve here. And now into the front row of the Cougars. Strong hit right there, Tracy. And Manley tries to chase it down into the bleachers, but runs out of room as the bleachers are pretty close to the court over there and not able to chase it down in the out of bounds. So we're going to be all knotted up at 14 apiece. And we're looking to go into a fourth set here.
And you don't want to go chase it into the bleachers. That that's too many possibilities of too many injuries that you need every single one of these girls on the court at all times.
And now here with Solstice with the serve. Now it's going to be Peterson with a big kill right there and finds her way down onto the Cougar side. And that was a huge hit, putting it back on the Maple Leafs side, and the Maple Leafs are back on top 15-14.
You know, it might not even come to a fourth set, but an extremely long third set.
And a very close third set, as Strock can't get it over the net, and that one almost went back over, but it came back over to the Maple Leafs side, falls on the floor. Nothing you can do about that. We're all tied up at 15, as it's going to be Rainbow back to serve here for the Cougars. Awaiting the service now. Service is up and over, tips the top of the net, kind of pops up a little bit. Now here's Peterson, strong hit down the line. That ball is going to find its way in, and just couldn't quite get all the way to the barrel for the Cougars, number 8, Valoria Flick. And she kind of waited on a little bit and couldn't go up enough to get that ball as it hit the ground. And now Maple Leafs find themselves on top once again. We're kind of trading points right here, trading blows, if you would, going back and forth. And so now it'll be Schwartzendruber back to serve here, 16-15, still in favor of the Leafs. And now here are the Cougars dug out there by Schwartzendruber, now to Rohr. And there's Vandeveld with the kill, dug out by the Cougars. And long hit, Schwartzendruber to Strock. And Strock over to Vandeveld. Vandeveld comes across the middle, trying to go for the kill. Now quick thinking right there. Strock takes it out. Now to Rohr, mainly from the back row, go for the kill. That ball's going to find its way in. And that was a good kill right there. Not a very, it was a pretty unusual play right there. Normally you don't see a lot of kills from the back row, but Manley was able to step up and take that one down the line and catch the Cougars off guard. So now it will be Schwartzendruber to serve once again. And now that ball tips off of Aaron Strock's arm, and that's going to find its way out of bounds. It's going to be tipped. So it's going to be a point for the Cougars, and it's going to be 17-16. Maple Leafs still getting a little bit of an edge right there, taking a 2-point lead, but Cougars are still in this, and you can't count them out yet.
Especially with this late in the match in general, each team needs to start pulling out some new move, like some new set, like volleys. Some new people need to come in. They need to do some different things. Again, like the kill from the back row. Usual, different, not expected. And that's what they need to start doing to compensate for their tiredness, is they need to do something the other team would not expect them to do, because they already had 2 sets together, and both teams kind of understand where the ball is going based off of the movements of the players.
And now back-to-back services go out of bounds. So the Cougars serve out of bounds, and the Maple Leafs go right back and serve out of bounds, as it's now 18-17. And coming in on that last substitution right there, Geiger and Plank both came in here for the Maple Leafs, as we are 18-17, really close one here in the third set. Neither team giving up, and Cougars really can't afford to give up, as if they lose this last set, match is over. So it's going to be Hubner to serve here for the Cougars. Now to Plank, to Rohr. We're trying to go a quick second hit. And now there is Schwartzendruber to Plank now. Plank up to that was Rohr. And now that ball is tipped and out of bounds. And Rohr, usually known for setting the ball and passing it to her teammates, but she was able to get the kill right there and gain an upper hand here for the Maple Leafs. And it's now 19-17, looking to be the first one to, once again, to get to 20 points in a set.
Rohr, a natural setter, who's now doing kills, and that is a complete game changer for what, the Cougars are looking at.
And a little bit of a tough break right there for the Maple Leafs, as they looked like they were going to get the recover, but weren't able to get the recovery right there. So they dropped the point, and the point goes to the Cougars. The Maple Leafs still on top by 1 point, 19-18, as it will be. That is number 12 back there, and that is going to be Poe to serve here for the Cougars. Plank now up to Rohr. Rohr over to Geiger, and she a hard hit. And now back once again, as that one was dug out on one hit, and back over to Geiger. Gets it back over there. Schwartzendruber now to Rohr. And Vandeveld with the cross-court dug out once again by the Cougars. And take it away. And now a big hit. And that ball's going to find its way in, and we're going to be all tied up at 19. And this has become a very heated matchup right now. Both teams' emotions running high. And now we're going to have a timeout to try and calm things down from Coach Jim Ruthner. And with that timeout, we're going to take a quick break as well. And we'll be right back with more Goshen College volleyball right here on 91.1 The Globe. Your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Hi, this is Adam Rodriguez. Did you know that today 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic? That means many of the future doctors, engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. Many support you, and the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net. Brought to you by the Hispanic Scholarship Fund and the Ad Council.
The Window has been providing charitable services to Goshen residents since 1967. Located downtown on Main Street, The Window is home to Katie's Kitchen, providing free hot lunches every weekday. Once a month, patrons can visit the pantry for food and hygiene items, and the clothes closet is open every Thursday for those in search of gently used items. For more information on how you can donate or volunteer, visit thewindowofgoshen.com or call 574-533-9680.
Back here on 91.1 The Globe, my name's Spencer Buttermore. Alongside me, Laura Hoover. We got a close one going right now as it's all knotted up at 19 apiece. And Maple Leafs are up 2-0 in the set column. But this third set has been the most exciting one by far so far.
Not only most exciting, but the closest. It's 19-19. And I have a feeling we just had our extremely long volley for the third time this game. So we should be getting close, but I feel like this is going to be a very long set here.
And so here we go. And the Cougars are in control. And now it's back over to the Maple Leafs rower. Now to Geiger. Geiger tries to go. And that ball was tipped on the out of bounds. And it looked like it was a very close tip on that one. But the Maple Leafs were able to get the benefit of the doubt and get the call and go up 20-19 here. And really try and put this one away as they only need the 5 more points.
You know, right before the break, we've been exchanging points literally every single service. Hopefully the break and the timeout would have be able to change that a little bit as we have going to this one now.
And so here is the Maple Leafs with the serve. Blocked up at the front. And now here's Tracy over to Gerke. Gerke goes down the line, and that ball is going to be down and find its way on the court. And that's going to be another point for the Maple Leafs, 21-19. And they're still looking to increase that lead and trying to win this thing and shut out the Cougars in 3 straight sets.
You know, at this point, with 21-19 on the board, who knows?
Yeah, both teams have been battling back and forth, really tough in this game. And no one's been able, in this set, no one has been able to grab that edge that what we saw the Maple Leafs did in the first 2 sets.
Even the tension has gotten really hot in here between the two teams.
And now it's going to be Tracy with the serve over to the Cougars. That ball is dug out and held by both teams up at the net, but it's going to fall to the Cougar side, and they're going to set up. And now a really strong kill right there. No one able to get to it on the Maple Leaf side. And that was a strong hit right there. And so now it's 21-20. Still in favor of the Maple Leafs, but they are looking to try and close this one out, but Cougars aren't going away.
No, they're not. And we keep on reverting back to the same things. The humidity, the tiredness, the attacking and control of the net. And we're seeing things that need to be critical right now. And that is back to the gel of the team, back to bringing in the fresh faces, making Gerke great person to have at the net, great blocker. And she's done wonderful. Haley Vanderbilt, great power on her kills, on just tipping the ball over the net. And we need to see that again as we come back right from that break.
21-20 now. Cougars in favor of the service. Here's Peterson with a strong kill on the side. That ball's dug out, and now it's going to be the Cougars with a strong hit, and that's going to be right over here in front of the score table. And now Danielle Plankton has to get it back over the net, over back to the Cougars. They're setting up the defense, and that ball is going to find its way down. And we are all tied up once again at 21 points apiece for either side. This one can go either way. Maple Leafs trying to close it out in 3 straight sets. Cougars trying to stay alive. It's going to be a flick back to serve here for the Cougars. That's going to be Tracy now to Rower. Over to Peterson. Just has to get it over the net. Not a good kill. And now a good kill right there. That ball's blocked, but it finds its way out of bounds. And so now it's going to be a Maple Leaf timeout as the Cougars take the lead. And with that timeout, we're going to keep it right here as this one is starting to get into the thick of things. And for the first time in this set, Maple Leafs are losing.
Not even losing. in the most dramatic sense. 1 point, that's not, we've been making that up the entire time. We've been exchanging points every single set. You know, every time the Leafs just serve, it goes over, and the Cougars are finally starting to hit those serves. From Tracy, who has served hard. Tracy's been serving hard. She's been going at it all day right now. And from her serves is like, I would say she's the best server on the team, at least in this game today. And the Cougars have finally started to hit back, and they're taking personal, not per se injury, but they've been taking the ground harsher and harsher after every one of her serves. But coming back in full storm and serving to their best ability, as we've seen these past 3 sets, what we've seen, the beginning of each set, the Cougars start off throwing the ball everywhere, not completely organized, just, you know, their serves have been way outside, out of bounds, over, you know, Plank's head in the back. But now everyone's trying to refine that. Everyone is nice, close up to the set. It's coming down to up by the net stuff, and which is what we're going to need to start controlling the net of right now.
And so both teams back on the court and ready to go. And Flick serves that one to the net. And that's not what you want if you're a Cougar fan right now, as that was such an easy point for Maple Leafs to get. And now we're all mounted up at 22. And so it's going to be Moss and also Manley stepping into the game. And Manley, along with McKinnon Tracy, has been one of the key servers here in this game so far. And awaiting the service from Manley now. Ball's up and over the net into the front row of the Cougars. Now it's hit to Rower, to McKinnon Tracy, up to Gerke. Gerke going to go for the kill. That ball is blocked up front, and the Cougars gain the point. And now the Cougars are ahead 23-22. And remember, you have to win by 2, so you have to start thinking about that right now if you're on either side of this, either side of the net here. But the Cougars are looking good right now, and Maple Leafs just haven't been able to find the answer just yet. And it's going to be Sam Solstice to serve right here for the Cougars. Ball's up and over the net. And there's McKinnon Tracy up to Rower. It goes over to Peterson. Strong kill. And that's just what the Maple Leafs needed right there. Tie this ball game up with a huge kill by Peterson. And she just comes off the side and just unloads on the ball.
And, you know, having a Gerke-Vanderbilt team, Gerke, the great blocker, Vanderbilt, the power killer, and having them out on court together would be fantastic. But they all need rest, and having a good blocker and a good kill is what they're going to start needing right in these last, 2-3 points.
So right in the middle of the rally now, here is Rower. Tries to get it up over the net on the second hit. Not able to do it. And now it's going to be a set point for the Cougars right here, 24-23. Goshen needs this point to stay alive here in this third set. It's going to be Ramel to serve here for the Cougars. Waiting the service now. Ramel falls up and that ball's into the net. And that is very, very unfortunate for the Cougars right there. As now it's all knotted up at 24. Now you got to win 2 straight points here to be able to either for the Maple Leafs take this whole match, or for the Cougars stay alive in this match.
I would feel like one serve and a nice volley would do it for the Leafs. But, the way this set has been going, literally anything can happen right now.
And so it's Schwartz-Druber back to serve here for the Maple Leafs. And now the ball's up, and that ball finds its way down. And so now it's going to be a serve for the Cougars. Cougars have the advantage. 25-24 now. Once again, having to win by 2. And it's going to be, that's Beat back to serve the set point here. Cougars looking to get the point. Now here's Strock to Rower, over to Vanderbilt. That ball's blocked initially into the net, but the Cougars recover. Now that ball falls to the floor, and that's going to be the third set, and that's going to force a fourth set right here as the Cougars come back and win the third set of this match, 26-24. They still trail by 1 set. And we'll be back with the fourth set action right here on 91.1 The Globe in a minute. You're listening to your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket
The rocket launched into the air.
and then crashed into the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
There's a place in Goshen where a dinner with drinks meets family-friendly fun. The Goshen Brewing Company's laid-back environment and tasty menu is perfect for all ages with its outdoor lawn and patio. Featuring a diverse lineup of fresh, craft-brewed beer, the Brewing Company is open from 3 to 10 Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 11 on Friday and Saturday, and Sunday brunch at 11. Find the Goshen Brewing Company at 315 West Washington Street next to the Goshen Market or online at goshenbrewing.com.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got a lot of food in this country. So how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids who need it. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
To help solve hunger in Northeast Indiana, contact Community Harvest Food Bank of Northeast Indiana or visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The death of someone close can be a devastating experience for anyone, let alone a child. Ryan's Place understands how the death of a loved one can affect a child and provides support at no cost to both children and adults who are grieving. They understand and they want to help. Ryan's Place is located at the Goshen City Church of the Brethren on 203 North 5th Street. More information is available at ryansplace.org.
Back here in Ruth Gunham Gymnasium, my name's Spencer Buttermore, alongside me, Laura Hoover, and we just witnessed a really good match, or a really good set, excuse me. The third set of this matchup was really good between the Cougars and the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs fell to the Cougars in that one, 26-24. It came down to the wire, and now the Maple Leafs are still in the lead set-wise, but momentum is definitely on the side of the Cougars.
That it is, and you know, even though the momentum's on the side of the Cougars, they're both tired, they're both exhausted, and that last set, exchanging points every single service pretty much. And I don't know if that would get someone back into a game of competition, but I really don't know what else could at this point. Because the Leafs winning 2 straight sets in a row, that puts a pretty big dent in your confidence coming into your third set. But now even coming into your fourth set, you still got to realize the Leafs still have 2-1 on us. And coming in with still somewhat fresh people. Gerke didn't play up until the third set. This is going to be your second set playing. They have 2-3 players that are still decently fresh coming in from the third set right now. So they have a small advantage, but at the same time, they need to work their tails off to even get that early lead again and keep it this time.
And just because the momentum is on the Cougar side right now, they still have to win 2 sets in order to win this whole game or win the whole match. So there's still a little bit of pressure on them put on by the Maple Leafs. And the Maple Leafs, I mean, they don't want to just sit back in their chair and just let the Cougars do whatever they please on the court. But then again, you don't necessarily have to win this set to be able to win the whole match. So it's kind of a give and take here for the Maple Leafs. We're going to see how they want to play that out, as it's going to be the Cougars here with the first serve of the fourth set here. And it's going to be Hubner back to serve for the Cougars. And here's the service now into the back row. Plank up to Rower. Now coming in from the back row is going to be Magnuson. Didn't see her in the third set. Now that ball is going to be back over to Geiger. Now to Rower over to Vanderbilt. And now that ball is going to be hit into the back row. And now looking to get it. And now that ball is going to be blocked, but no one's going to be able to get to it on the Maple Leaf side. And that one's going to find its way down. And we're going to be, and once again, we saw this. If patterns go by the way we've seen them, the Maple Leafs are going to win this match because the Cougars have won up 1-0, and they're trailing to start things off. As Magnuson comes out of the back row with a strong kill. That ball's going to be tipped out of bounds, so it's going to be a Maple Leaf point. And so we're going to be all netted up at 1-1.
I mean, if we're basing this game off of superstition, we have seen a long volley, extremely long volley, past 4 or 5 touches on each side of the court, we have seen the Cougars lead at least 2-1 or 1-1 coming into it. And we've seen the Maple Leafs take from behind. So if that's the way this is going to go, then they have a 95% chance of winning right now.
And on that play right there, the set was really good, but the setter got in the way of the front hitter, and they weren't able to communicate to where they were going. Just kind of got tangled up, ball fell to the floor, so it's going to be a Maple Leaf point. That ball's going to be blocked up front by the Maple Leafs. Now to Peterson, to Rower, over to Magnuson, and she's going to go in for the strong kill. That ball is tipped, but it's going to be up to the Cougars now. Big block up front, and back over to the Cougar side. They're going to be going for the kill now. Big block once again by that Maple Leaf front line. Cougars still working that front row. Now tipped, and that ball is going to be tipped out of bounds, and it's going to be a Cougar point, and we're all knotted up at 2-2. And once again, we didn't really see it a lot in that third set, but the Maple Leafs have really started to control that up front here early in this fourth set, which is going to be a key.
And what we've seen, if again, we're going back to what we've seen prior to this, the Cougars are going to have some pretty long services and some pretty long kills going on the outside, not getting those touches that they need early on.
And a big kill by Peterson, gets blocked initially, but that ball is going to be tipped out of bounds by the Cougars, so it's going to be a point awarded to the Maple Leafs as it's 3-2 now. Maple Leafs on top. And going back to serve here is going to be Manley for the Cougars. And awaiting Manley's service now. And the ball is up. And the ball's over the net into the back row. A little bit of an awkward hit on the first one. Now Magnuson to Rower. And now Manley from the back row just finds a hole in that defense. And it wasn't really a kill. It was just a set over the net. And the Cougars still weren't able to cover it. So they go up 4-2 for the Maple Leafs. And they still gain control of that service. And Manley is once again back to serve here for the Leafs. And now there is the back row of the Cougars. Strong hit right there. That ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And that's going to be a Maple Leaf point once again. As the Cougars can't get anything going right now. As it's 5-2 in favor of the Leafs. Manley back to serve once again. Service is up and over the net into the Cougars defense. And now a big block right there. And that was Moss. And also, I believe that is Magnuson over there on the side. Yes, it is. And that was a big block by the two of them, both getting a hand in there. And now it's going to be 6-2 here for the Maple Leafs. And it's going to be a timeout on the Cougar side and a much-needed timeout. And we're going to take a timeout as well. You're listening to Goshen College Volleyball right here on 91.1 The Globe, your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Welcome back to the Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Programming on 91.1 The Globe is brought to you in part by Goshen Art House. Art House provides audiences and artists with a creative venue for film, performance, and exhibits. Art House also offers limited release, critically acclaimed films, as well as theme-based Monday night movies, late night features, and family matinees. Art House is located on the second floor at 211 South Main Street in downtown Goshen. More information and event scheduling available online at goshenarthouse.com or on Facebook at Goshen Art House.
Back here on 91.1 The Globe, we're in Ruth Gunn Gymnasium. I'm Spencer Buttermore, alongside me, Laura Hoover. And Maple Leafs are trying to close this one out right now. They have a pretty good advantage here in the fourth set, 6-2. They are up 2-1 in the sets, and they're looking to put this one away. Cougars still are fighting, though, and trying to find a way as they took that timeout right there, and they took the full amount of time to try and get things sorted out on that side. It's going to be Manley now with the serve, and that's going to be into the back row of the Cougars. Strong kill right there by the Cougars, dug out by the Maple Leafs. And now it's going to be Tracy getting it back over to the Cougars. A tough setup right there. Strong kill. It's going to be Rower to Manley. And now it's going to be Manley killing it over top of the net and back over to the Cougars. Big block right there and just drops in between all six Cougar players. No one's able to get to it. And so now a big setup right there as it's 7-2 now. Maple Leafs keep building that lead. And we've seen them build this lead multiple times in the first couple sets.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but except for rewind the tape and rewatch the first 2 sets because it's exactly like it.
And as that ball on the kill tries to sneak it in on the baseline, but it finds its way outside of that baseline. So it's going to be 8-2. And the Cougar bench is starting to look a little disheartened right now as the score just keeps growing in the Maple Leaf favor. As Manly's back to serve once again. And that was just a miss hit right there by the Cougars, and they just can't get anything going right now.
Yeah. Cougars look like they're panicking a little bit, and they need to get that under control to get back in this game. But the Maple Leafs look like they are under control. They're calm. They're giving power. Their blocks are on point. They're reading everything. They look like they're not even tired anymore. I mean, it's literally like rewinding the clock back to the first set once again.
Exactly like it. 9-2 now. Manly with the serve into the back row of the Cougars. And now a strong kill right there, but that's dug out. Now Maxson has to run all the way over to the bleachers. And now I wasn't sure if Manly or Tracy hit that, but either way, it finds its way over. And now a big block right there by the front line. That's Moss and also Magnuson. And that's another big block right there by the Maple Leafs. And they continue to control that front line. And they didn't do it quite so much in that third set, but in that first, second, and in this fourth set, they were in control.
And, we're getting about that time where we're needing that extremely long volley. It's been around, the 10, 11, 12-point range of the Leafs versus, 2, 3 to 5 points of the Cougars. So we're looking for that long set, at least, pretty soon.
And while you were analyzing what's going on, Lexi Magnuson just unloaded on that ball and was able to there was no chance of any Cougar trying to get to that ball. And now that lead is increased to 11-2. And I mean, we said it last game, but the last set, the Cougars were able to come back. But as that deficit keeps growing, it's going to be a lot tougher for these Cougars to get back into this.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I saw a little bit of smoke coming off that volleyball when it hit the floor. And they're just wiping up that area right there from that attempted dig, so...
And now Manly with the serve once again back for the Cougars. And now there is Magnuson over to Rower. And now Geiger with the strong serve. And now it's back over to the Cougars. They regain for the possession. And now Tracy to Rower. Now Peterson with the strong kill goes cross court. Dug out there by the Cougars. And back over. And that ball was kind of almost dug out there by Manly, but wasn't able to get down and get it out. So now it's going to be 11-3. And that was the first Cougar point in about the last eight serves or so. So they're finally getting the service back. But if you're the Maple Leafs, you're wanting to get that service right back on your side with that success that you just had in the last 8 services.
And we've seen time and time again that the Cougars are definitely a second half of the set type team coming back in a huge deficit.
And so it will be flicked back to serve for the Cougars, 11-3 here. And Peterson with a strong kill, and that ball is tipped off of, I think it was 2 Cougar players, and that ball is tipped out of bounds and not able to recover on that one. So it's going to be 12-3, and it's going to be Aaron Strock to serve here for the Maple Leafs. And they're looking to take a 10-point lead, which is going to be a really big deficit to come back from if you're the Cougars. That ball's dug out there by the Cougars. Big, strong block up front there. And now back over to the Cougars. They regain control. And it's Peterson getting on the ground and getting dirty. And it pays off as that ball falls to the ground on the Cougar side. And it's just all Maple Leafs here in this fourth set right now, as it is now 13-3, and the Cougars just can't find an answer.
That's a 10-point deficit, especially in a volleyball game. I mean, each single volley is a point, whether it's one team or the other team. But I mean, coming back from a 10 points, that's 10 points almost in a row they need to get back. And that's hard to get back. It's already hard to get back at 5. And doubling that out of 25-point game, roughly, that's a huge hole to get out of right now.
I know if you look at other sports, basketball, for example, a 10-point lead in basketball isn't necessarily meaning you're going to win the match, and it doesn't necessarily mean that here in volleyball, but definitely in volleyball you got a little bit more of an advantage than you do in basketball.
True.
As that was Strock's serve over to the Cougars. That ball's blocked right up front by the Maple Leafs, and that's going to be another huge point for the Maple Leafs here, as it's now 14-3 And that Cougar sideline, they're dead. Honestly, they just don't have any energy at this point.
And you got to generate your own energy. And when you're tired and trying to generate it, it's even harder.
And now that's going to be Manley in the back row. Over to Strock, over to Peterson, trying to go in the middle of that Cougar defense. They find a way to dig it out. And now there is into the back row. That was Tracy trying to make a play on the ball. Not able to get it, but now it's going to be the Cougars with the point. It's going to be 14-4. Got some substitutions coming in now for the Cougars. And one of those Cougars is going to be number 3, Sam Solzis, coming in to serve here for the Cougars. Stoppage of play now is cleaning up a little bit of a couple wet spots over there on the Maple Leaf side of the bench, or side of the court, as Manley dove for that ball, wasn't able to get there, so you have to think that she got a little sweat on the ground, clean it up a little bit, keep everybody safe. So now it'll be Soltis to serve. Now Manley up to Rower, and Rower to Moss, and now Cougars recover here and try and get the big block, and that ball is going to find its way out of bounds. It's going to be another Maple Leaf point, and it's going to be 15-4. 10 more points here for the Maple Leafs to try and close this thing out. As Schwartzendruber, and also it's going to be Vanderbilt coming in here for the Maple Leafs, and it's going to be Schwartzendruber to serve.
They're really pulling out the big guns. I mean, Vanderbilt in her power.
Schwartzendruber's service goes right into the net there, not able to get anything going on that service for the Maple Leafs, as it's now 15-5 here. And the Cougars will regain service, as it will be number 12, Emily Poe, to serve for the Cougars. Cougars not going away. They're still trying to get back in this. As it's now Manley up to Rower, over to Vanderbilt, and now I'm going to say that it was Rower got caught up in the net right there. Not able to avoid that net, trying to go for the set. The ball is hit kind of into the net, so a little bit tougher to try and maneuver around the net. And so it's going to be 15-6. As now it's Strock up to Rower. And now that's going to be Moss, and that ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And that was within inches, as it was right in front of us here on the scores table. So now it's 15-7 here. Maple Leafs still have that good lead, but Cougars are starting to make a little bit of a comeback. Schwartzendruber. Now that is to Strock. Vanderbilt. Big hit up front. And now it's going to be Manley. That ball has got to be over the top of the net. And now it's going to be a double hit on the Maple Leafs. And now Jim Ruther is going to call a timeout right here just to calm down the Maple Leafs. And with that timeout, we're going to take a quick one as well. It's 15-8 here in Ruth Gunning Gymnasium. You're listening to Goshen College Women's Volleyball here on 91.1 The Globe. Your home for Maple Leaf Athletics.
Hey, Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions,
How high can you jump?
but you don't have to know every answer
How many phone numbers are there?
because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The Deep Roots Mountain Revival Festival is coming to Marvin's Mountaintop in Masontown, West Virginia. This festival will feature some Globe favorites such as Frushin,
I've been missing your face late.
Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives,
Was a name. Geraldine.
Blackberry Smoke,
Sun hit the bottom of
and many more. This will last from the 15th to the 18th of September, so you can enjoy 4 days filled with great music. Any information can be found at mountainrevival.com.
Welcome back to 91.1 The Globe. Both teams coming out of this timeout and getting ready to go here, as we're at 15-8 here in this fourth set of the match. And if we were in the fifth set right now, we'd be done by now because we only played a 15, but we're not in that set yet. We're not in that situation, but the Maple Leafs are looking to close it out, making sure we don't get to that fifth set, as it's 15-8, and they're looking to get 10 more points here to try and close this game out. And now here's a service from the Cougars over to Vanderbilt, and that's a strong hit, and that ball rides right along the net and falls on the Cougar side for a Maple Leaf point. That's going to be 16-8. And Haley Vanderbilt has been a force up in that front row for the Maple Leafs this evening, and she's going in with a ton of kills.
That she has, and her kills, they just scream power. Not only in the sense of restraining that power and just lightly tapping it over the net, doing close net things, but she has blasted the ball in the middle of the court multiple times this evening.
And now that ball is going to find its way out of bounds from the Maple Leaf side, and it's going to be a Cougar point, so it's going to be 16-9 here, as it's now going to be the Cougars will be in favor and will be awarded the service. And it's going to be Begenduck to serve here for the Cougars. Service is up and over the net, and now to Rower, to Geiger, and that ball is going to be tipped out of bounds. So it's going to be a point for the Maple Leafs. And once again, 17-9 here, still increasing that lead. Hasn't been up to 10 for a while, but it's still been a very wide point margin, as it will be Rower back to serve here for the Leafs. And now here's a service into the back row of the Cougars up front now. And big kill right there by Rammel. And that ball's going to find its way down on the floor. And it's 17-9 now. Still in favor of those Maple Leafs, but the Cougars not going away.
And, the Cougars are doing the exact same thing they've been doing the last few sets, is they've been starting to refine what they've been doing. And it's a little bit more sloppy right now than it has been in the past few sets, but they're starting to hit very well, very accurately. And the Maple Leafs are, doing the exact same thing. Their blocks are still good. They're still up 17-10. That's 7 points still. And they started to exchange points again. But if they do that, the Cougars aren't going to catch up at all. But Cougars, again, need to have the ball on their side of the court to win.
And so the service is with the Cougars, as that ball was a little tough, and it was Magnuson and also Geiger trying to dig that one out, and they both dug it out but hit it out of bounds. So not a very good hit if you're a Maple Leaf fan right there, but nonetheless, Cougars get the point, 17-11 now. And it will be Hubner back to serve here, and that's going to be Schwartzendruber up to Geiger, and that ball is going to be high right here in front of the score table. Now it's going to be hit from the back row. It's going to be Plank up to Rower, over to Magnuson. That ball was strongly hit, and just Hubner couldn't do anything with it, and that's going to be another good hit there by Lexi Magnuson. And so it's going to be 18-11 now, as it's going to be, that is Tracy and also Peterson here coming into the game for the Maple Leafs. And it's going to be Tracy back to serve. And you have to think, if Tracy gets on a roll like she did last game, she might be the last one to serve here in this match. And so here, awaiting Tracy's serve. Now into the back row of the Cougars, up to the front. A little bit of miscommunication right there. Big block up front, and this falls to the floor. And another good play right there by the front line of the Maple Leafs. And the Cougars just can't get anything going at this point with that front line being as strong as they are right now. It's just tough. And so it's 19-11 now. Tracy still to serve. 6 points to go here for the Maple Leafs to close this one out. And now here is Tracy with the serve. Into the back row once again here for the Cougars. And still a little bit of a tough hit right there. There's Rower. Now to Plank. And now there's Geiger. Quick hit. Geiger once again. And there is Peterson with a strong kill. Cross court dug out there by the Cougars. Now the Cougars trying to get it back over. And that ball is tipped. And there is Rower down to Peterson. That ball is dug out of the back row. And that ball was a really low first hit for the Cougars. And they weren't able to get it back up above the net to where you want the ball to be. And so with that, it's going to be a Maple Leaf point. And now they're to 20. And the Cougars are at 11. So 20-11 is the score here. And McKinnon Tracy 5 serves away from trying to get this one and close it out and take this match. So as the Maple Leafs get set up right here, Cougars huddling up a little bit, trying to think of some strategy to try and slow down this Maple Leaf team late in this set. And now here is Tracy with the serve. Trying to go on that far court side, but goes wide of the sideline and is not able to find a way and get it into play. So that's going to be just not even a decent serve right there by Tracy, as now it's 20-12, and Rammel will take the service for the Cougars. Plank now up to Rower, and now there's Peterson, strong block, but no one was able to get there for the Cougars after the block. And that was a really, really tough hit right there by Peterson, which we've seen so far a lot of the front line of the Maple Leafs have been doing. And so now it's 21-12. And it's going to be Manley trying to close this thing out with 4 more points. Manley back, getting ready to await the serve. And here is the service. Now up front. And now find a big gap there in the Maple Leaf defense as the Cougars were able to get that kill right there. And now they're still fighting here. 21-13. And it will be Valerie Flick to serve back here for the Cougars. And now back in the back row to Tracy. Strong kill right there by Moss. And that's going to be another point for the Maple Leafs. 22-13 here. Still getting closer and closer to closing this thing out. And it looks as if they are going to be able to win the 4th set here, but how quickly will that be? Only time will tell. If the Cougars keep trading points a little bit, we still got at least 6 more rallies. And so here is Strock for the Maple Leafs. That ball was set up perfectly by Moss from the Cougars. And for the second time, we can award the Cougars an assist for a Maple Leaf kill. As now it's 23-13, still got that 10-point lead going, and Strock is going to be back to serve here for the Maple Leafs. Ball's up and over the net and into the Cougar defense, trying to go for the kill here. Now there's Strock to Manley, and now Rower's just got to get it over the net. And now here is the Cougars. And that ball is going to bounce off 2 Maple Leaf players, not able to recover and get that ball back over the net. So it's going to be another point for the Cougars. And it's going to be 23-14 here as both teams trading blows, but it might be a little bit too late here for the Cougars to try and continue to trade blows being down by 9.
Trading blows isn't going to cut it for the Cougars right now. They need to get in a long rally with lots of points. And I probably need to bite my tongue on that right now. So,
and a little bit of a miss hit right there by 2 Maple Leaf players, and the ball falls to the floor. So it's 23-15, and it's going to be Soltis back to serve here for the Cougars. And another quick serve right there, and that would be an ace once again here for the Cougars. As now it's 23-16, making their way back into this game a little bit, making a little bit of an interesting 4th set and trying to force a 5th. Next serve here is Tracy over to Rower, back to Peterson. That ball's blocked up front. Now Moss just gets it back over. There's Strock to Peterson. And now McKinnon Tracy from the back row gets the spike. Now blocked up front. Now the Cougars have to recover and recoup. And now from the back row, there's Flick. Strock now for the Maple Leafs over to Rower. Peterson with a strong kill across court. And it can't be dug out from the Maple Leafs. And now it is 24-16, and we have match point here for the Maple Leafs. And here serving for match point is going to be number 10, and that's going to be the junior transfer. That's Christy Schwartzendruber for the Maple Leafs to serve for the match point right here, 24-16, awaiting that service. And we're ready to serve right here. Schwartzendruber serve, find his way over the net, and now into the Cougar territory, and that ball's going to find its way in. So we play another point here, 24-17. Still looking for that match point, but now it's going to be the Cougars serving. And so I believe it's going to be number 12. That's Emily Poe back to serve here for the Cougars. Match point here for the Maple Leafs. Poe serve up and over the net, right into the middle of the defense. And there is Schwartzendruber over to Vanderbilt. Tries to go down the line, a little bit of a lighter hit. And Cougars recover, get it back over the net. There's Manley. Schwartzendruber. And now that's going to get back over the line. That ball is going to be out. And so another miscommunication a little bit right there, but the Maple Leafs says they couldn't find anybody that just trying to really cooperate on hitting that ball, and it's going to be Poe back to serve again, 24-18, match point still. As now it's Roller to Moss, and a big block right there by the Cougar front line. You know, Schwartzendruber just has to get it over the net, back over to the Cougars. They're looking to get it back to the Maple Leaf side, and that ball is going to be in again. And all of a sudden, the tides have changed right here real quick. And the Maple Leafs are struggling to get this match point as it's now 24-19. Poe back to serve once again here. And now into the middle, here's Rower. Tries to go with the quick hit and couldn't get it back over. And so now it's going to be a much-needed timeout by Jim Ruthner. You just have to think he's not going to try and talk strategy. He just wants to talk just try and calm the team down and try and get them right to where they need to be to get this final match point.
That's for sure. And Goshen has been, and they've been on a downswing for right now, and don't really know how to describe it too well, as to simply put it is they just stopped playing. They haven't gone for much. They stopped the blocking. They stopped attacking. They have let the Cougars in into a long run where it's gone 24-20. Yeah, still match point, but they've let themselves rest for way too long on this.
Yeah, they really need to get back into this. We got about 20 seconds left here. The Maple Leafs, who initially called the timeout, are already back on the court. You just have to think that they just wanted to talk about just kind of calm them down. Jim Rusner just wanted to talk to the girls, calm them down a little bit, and for the Cougars, that was completely strategy for them, as they are still in favor of that service. It's a 4-point match, right, or a 4-point set right here, and they're trying to get this to go into that fifth set and try and come back in this one, being down 2 sets. But we're going to see how this one plays out in the next couple of minutes here. As it'll be Poe once again back to serve for the Cougars. Strock, just another miss hit right there by the Maple Leafs, and they're just killing themselves right now. They were right there, had it wrapped up, but they just can't seem to find and get it going. And so here's Poe back to serve once again, 24-21. And now here's Vanderbilt. And that ball is hit right into the net. And now it's 24-22. And we said earlier that it will be tough for the Cougars to come back, but it's not impossible. And they're proving that it's not impossible to make a comeback right here in the late run. And now here is Strock from the back row over to Rower. And now there's Vanderbilt back to the front row of the Cougars. Big block up front. That ball is going to find its way out of bounds. And so now it's 24-23. And to not force sudden death, Maple Leafs need to score right here. And it's going to be this is a big match point right here for the Maple Leafs for the 8th time in a row. Now big block, and that ball is going to find its way in. And that's going to be the match, 25-23, that final 4 set. Maple Leafs were able to get the job done here in the late going and take this one 3-1 over top of the St. Francis Cougars. And they won that final set 25-23. We'll be back with post-game analysis, so stay tuned. And we're going to just have some post-game analysis, some stats, and what we saw and what you can expect for the next couple of matches.